Okay, Beth, you want to get the meeting started?
Okay, I'll call today's meeting to order. Welcome to our first Zoom meeting to give this a try. And Darlene, would you like to read our club mission?
I can do that. Our club mission is we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth.
Yay!
Thank you very much. Hey, I would like to introduce our Toastmaster of the day, Darlene.
Thank you, Beth. As you may or may not have known, I got an email this morning fairly early from Karen saying she wasn't going to attend the meeting, and she had been scheduled as Toastmaster. So we didn't have a theme. So I declare that our theme is Maiden Voyage.
Okay.
And because this is our first online meeting, and there's only 4 of us, but 4 is better than none of us. Beth, do you have a joke and a quote to get us entertained with?
I do. And hopefully I haven't told you this one. I don't think I have.
Well, anyway.
So, have you heard about the workplace tragedy?
No.
A man fell into a coffee vat and died, but his wife said he didn't suffer much. It was instant.
Yay!
And my quote. So, it comes today from the World Health Organization. What a surprise. And do the 5, and they have a hand up, and it says, help stop coronavirus. Hands, wash off in the elbows, cough into it, face, don't touch it, feet, keep a safe distance, and feel sick, stay home. So it makes me always think of, it made me think of heads and shoulders, knees and toes with
Yes.
the kids. So it seems like it should be some kind of a song. I don't know. Anyways, that's my quote for the day.
Thank you. Thank you. That was very good. And we all, one thing that's a little tricky when we're this way is our clapping, because that's one thing we do a lot of when we're in person. So let's not forget to clap after each thing, just so that we have the same feeling as when we are together in person. All right. Jim, do you have a word of the day for us?
Yes. The word of the day is quarantine, which means to separate a person from other persons or to separate animals from other animals. Quarantine is usually used when an animal might be sick or a person might be sick. The quarantine was first used way back in the Bible times when they would separate the leprosy from other people. They quarantined them. The word of the day is quarantine.
Thank you.
Yay. Let's see how many times we can use that word. And the grammar, Beth, looks like you're the grammarian. Can you keep track of how many times we say the word quarantine? And tell us, let's see, General Evaluator, Jim, can you introduce your team?
Yes, as general evaluator, it is my responsibility to ensure that we have a great meeting and to assist on telling the rest of the Toastmaster members of what we can do to improve ourselves. Never any criticism. I'd like to introduce my team as the grammarian with Beth. Beth, tell us what your responsibilities are.
Thank you, fellow Toastmasters. My job as grammarian is to keep track of the amount of usage of word of the day, to keep track of any filler words and any especially wonderful phrases that come up for the day, and then to make a report at the end. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Beth. Now, the timer of the day is, Darlene, I don't have the agenda in front of me.
Okay,
It's supposed to be Levon.
It's supposed to be Levon. She doesn't seem to be here. Jim, you've got a good watch on you. Maybe you could do that.
Yes, okay. As timer today, this will be a little bit unusual, but as timer, I will be timing all speeches, all table topics, and all evaluations. I will also be the vote counter as well. And since I had the word of the day, I will not get credit for using the word of the day, quarantine. that is my team for today.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Lee. It's glad that
Morning, Lee.
we're glad to have you with us. We started our meeting on time and we did all of our normal things that we do up to this point. The grammarian just introduced his team. So
I tell her the word of the day.
the word of the day is quarantine. Do I get credit for saying it? Quarantine. All right. Usually, let's see, what time does it? It is 6:50. Yes, we've still got time. We don't need to re-log into Zoom until about 5 minutes after 7. So if you guys will help me keep track of the time so that we don't run out of our, if we had a paid version, we could go as long as we wanted to. But the free version only lets you do 40 minutes at a time. And I think probably you all know that already. So Elaine, do you have a speech for us today?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yes.
I don't have an introduction, so let me introduce you then. For our first speaker today, we have Elaine Intermel. Elaine is our District 9 E2 Area Director, and she is currently working, I think, in one of her pathway manuals. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, and you can tell us what manual it is, because I don't know, and the title of your speech. So timer, wait until after she tells us the name of her speech and her manual, and then start her time.
Actually, this is going to be on area director duties, and I'll be sharing some duties, which is, and some of the events that's coming up. And one coming up real soon, and hopefully I could share my screen, is a town meeting on the 28th with Richard Pack, who is our Toastmaster elect president. It will be a town meeting. What I am, hopefully I could bring up my, share my screen. This is a screen of what's on the D9. Can everybody see it?
Yeah.
Yes, you
Yes.
scroll down so that we can see the actual part about it. Yeah, there we go.
Town meeting, a town hall meeting with Richard from, you can see on Sunday, March 29, and from 3 to 4, this, and gives the Zoom time. And that, without the arrow, is Richard. And he does a great job of introducing himself and everything. So also at the annual meeting, we need a quorum. So all presidents and VPEs needs to be in attendance. There will be no proxies at this particular business meeting, because we need a forum. And that's not business as usual. at all. Maybe I could get unshared. Okay.
There we go.
There. I hadn't shared my screen before, so that's something new for me. And the reason for no proxies is because we need to have a quorum. Right before the meeting, the annual meeting, there will be a showcase of candidates to be nominated on. It's just a brief time. And area directors are is the people from the next in line up to keep the clubs that are responsible for informed of what's going on district level and give correct information. That's why I wanted to show that poster. Keeping track of, anybody could go on the D9 website and check out the calendar, check out events, check out the powerhouse that Darling puts on, edits, and is the editor of. So please do so. It is also to express concerns, problems, issues. And if I don't have, as an area director, don't have the answer, I go to the next step up, which is division leader, director, which in our area is Rick Aguilar. And then it keeps going up the ladder from there. Yes, Jim?
5 minutes.
Okay. And so keep in mind, anybody could go on the D9, TMD9 website. So it's very important, Beth and Darlene, for you to be at the annual business meeting. B and Jim, you're welcome to join. Your vote won't count if you vote, but because it's basically the director
6 minutes.
and also all those who can vote. So please attend that, especially that meeting and the town hall meeting on Saturday. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Elaine.
Yay!
Good. It's always good to know exactly what's going on so that we can be active participants in all of the events, or as many of them as we can be. And to add to what she said, Jim, I think you do need to be at the business meeting because I think you were on the audit committee. You weren't the chairman this year, were you, or were you?
No, I was not.
Okay. So you were chairman of something this year, weren't you? Maybe you weren't, I don't know. I
Nope.
lose track of what you are and what you aren't. All right, Jim, do you have a speech for us?
Oh,
Or
no,
did you-
I'm going to postpone because I thought I enjoyed it. No, I'm not going to have a speech today.
Okay, he was ready and willing to fill in should nobody have a speech, but Elaine, I'm so glad that you had something ready for us. So I was thinking, before we move on to our next portion here, I was thinking of I thought of a thought right when Elaine was talking. One of the things we need to come up with is some red, yellow, and green somethings to hold up while the speaker is speaking so that the timer doesn't have to interrupt with his mouth to let the speaker know where they stand with the time. A lot of clubs have cards that color, so we'll come up with something. All right. The next portion of our meeting is table topics, and our table topic master today is Jim Marquardt. Jim, can you? Yes, Elaine, do you have a question? You're
Yes.
muted. Elaine,
This might be a good time to close down and then re-enter so we
don't.
don't mess up.
Okay, do you all have the link to the second portion of the meeting? I can put it in.
Yes.
I can put it in the chat if somebody needs it.
I have it.
So
Lee,
we're going to close.
do you have the link to the second half of the meeting?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's all log out of this one. Just down in the right-hand corner, click End Meeting, and then click on the next meeting, and then we won't have to worry about that for the rest of the time.
Okay. All right. See you in a second.
Okay.
Can you see me now?
Yep, there you are.
Okay.
Yep. Elaine hasn't popped back in yet. So that was a little tricky because I had to go to a different screen than I was thinking I needed to go to, just because I suppose I should have let you know right at the beginning of the meetings, but the meetings automatically record so that we can keep track of minutes. We don't need to save those recordings particularly, but just that at least the first few times that'll be great because we can look and see where we need to make improvements. And look back and review. There's Elaine.
Yep. Okay. Are you ready for table topics?
I don't see Elaine yet.
Yeah, she's. Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Her name.
Elaine is on, but I don't see her yet.
There we go.
There she is. Okay. As table topic master, Elaine. The table topics is from 1 to 2 minutes, and when it shows when your 2 minutes is up, I will put the red up. Can you see that, Elaine?
Yes.
Okay. When you think someone should be quarantined, how would you quarantine them, Elaine?
Thank you, Table Topics Master. That is a great question. I would borrow your handcuffs, put them on, throw the key away, put them in a locked room, maybe with a gallon of water. Maybe let them out once every 12 hours to use the restroom. Oh, but that would be cruelty, wouldn't it? But that's how I would quarantine them until whatever they had, whether it's the coronavirus or the flu or some other contagious disease, is over. That's how I would quarantine them.
Thank you, Elaine. Beth, I know you deal with medical issues, and have you seen anything as serious as this where we have had such a virus that has taken over more than the Black Plague? Beth.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters. If you speak worldwide, I've done some reading in my past that was scary and absolutely interesting from a science basis. And that had to be, uh-oh, did you guys just lose me?
No, you're still here.
Oh, I'm not on my screen. Neither are you guys. Okay. So my boss had given me a book about worldwide epidemics, and a lot of it, and how they started and what caused them. And I remember reading about Ebola, and it was extremely scary. So that always kind of sat in my mind. But have I lived through them? No. I know the flu in 1918, I think it was horrific. And of course, this one reminds us of that. But I'm grateful and extremely grateful to God and to just that I've not had to do that or be quarantined. We have been quarantined as having Jessica. We were quarantined a lot because of her immune system. And so we had to stay in the house, and we had family come to the big windows for Christmas and birthdays. We were not allowed to go to stores. We had other people shop for us, get supplies. So that became part of our life. And in the hospital, she was always quarantined behind double doors. And there were times where for a month we would wear the total garb of personal protection. And that got a little old, I admit, and trying to sleep in that because she was Down syndrome and needed us there. So we couldn't just leave her in a room and have her be self-sufficient. So I have been through some of those things, but never on this sort of a scale. And this is a bit worrisome, but I hope that people follow the quarantine rules so that it won't get as bad as it could. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth.
I'm going to
Thank you.
try and come back in. So
Okay.
can you guys you can see me?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see you.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's just really weird because I've got a white screen. Okay, well, if I'm in and out, you know why. I'm going to probably
Okay.
sign out and come back in.
Okay.
Oh, no, there you are. Hi.
Okay. Lee, what are you doing to be safe during this time of stay-at-home regulations?
Good morning, Tabletop Toastmasters. What are we doing to be safe while this quarantine's going on? We are just staying home. We go to the store probably every Sunday. So this past Sunday, we went to the store. We had to wait in line. Safeway actually changed their hours from like 7 a.m. And I'm not sure what time they close. I think it's like 10 or 11. But they changed their hours so that they could restock. But it was really odd seeing all these people waiting in line when we were going to the store, when we usually hardly ever see anybody at that time of hour. So we were at the side that had the red box side waiting because nobody else was waiting there. And then there was like another line of people on the other side. So they were all 6 feet apart. So we waited in there in that line. And luckily they opened our side of the store first so we could go in and get what we needed. But luckily we don't need toilet paper for a while. So that's partly where we're pretty lucky to have gotten some of our supplies ahead of time. What else was out? Toilet paper was like the first thing that I saw people have, and there was a line to get their one package of toilet paper at that time. But that's what we're doing, is to stay quarantined, is to stay inside, away from people as much as possible. And I think my husband will handcuff me if I try to go out as well. Just because this virus is so bad, we're just gonna stay home and limit our contact with other people as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lee. Darlene,
Yes.
as you know, the government has put on several restrictions on us. Do you see any further restrictions being implemented on us as citizens? And if you see them, what do you see might occur?
Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters. That's an interesting question. I think just was either yesterday or the day before, our governor did impose more tighter restrictions. Instead of 10 or less people, it was like a stay-at-home order. So anything that is necessary to do, we can do, like go to the grocery store, the pharmacy. We are allowed to go out and take walks as long as we don't get too close to anyone else out there while we're walking, because getting fresh air and exercise actually is good for our health. So that's important for us to be still doing that. I think the government's down as just about as tight on us as possible without infringing on totally all of our rights. I don't think we've gone to, what is that called? I can't think of the name of it right off the top of my head, where, you know, the government takes over. I don't think we're quite there yet. And I don't think that, a lot of it depends on whether people will actually do what they've been asked to do. I've been seeing where a lot of people are being rebellious and like going to the beach or going to Multnomah Falls, and I saw swarms of people on a picture of Multnomah Falls, and it's like, why? It seems like there's a certain portion of the population that don't want to follow the rules. And I think if we're going to get rid of this virus, people need to follow the rules. We may not like it, we may not even agree it's necessary, but we need to do it anyway, just because that's my philosophy, is that everybody, absolutely everybody, stays quarantined for 2 weeks. After that 2 weeks is over with, only the people who are sick, and we should know who has the virus by then, only those people and anyone they've been exposed to stay home for another 2 weeks or until they get well. This thing should be gone by then. That's if everybody follows the instructions. Thank you, Mr. Table Topic Master.
Thank you very much, Darlene. Now I will do my role as general evaluator. Our meeting actually started on time, and it's very interesting the issues that we'll have to work on, but I'm really pleased we started on time. It appears that we will end on time. There's a few bugs that we need to work out. I'm not sure. Darlene had mentioned about showing the card, and I did have the red card after the fact, but I didn't know if everybody could see that red card when I was given the 2 minutes up.
Yeah, we could.
Now it's time. Now it's time to have our evaluator. Who is our evaluator today, Darlene?
I think it's, well, we have either me or Lee. Lee, do you
Lee,
want
would
to?
you like?
To?
Lee, would you like to evaluate Elaine's speech?
No, not really.
Okay, Darlene, that's okay. That's okay, Darlene. Will you please evaluate Elaine's speech?
Yes, thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Fellow Toastmasters, and especially Elaine. I really appreciated that you got into the meat of why we need to have our representation at the district meeting. With that spring meeting being online like usual, it's going to be different than we're used to. Anyway, you did a pretty good job of explaining that to us. It's a little interesting when we give our speeches online because it's different than when we stand up in front of the group. I don't know if it's scarier or if it's easier. It could go either way depending on how comfortable you feel with it. But you acted like you were comfortable with it, and I appreciate that. I think that one of the things that I've seen from other people that they recommend that we might do when we give a speech is step back away from the camera that we're using so that the people who are watching can see more of your body. Because when we evaluate those, our body language, and when all we see is from about here up, it's hard to know all of your body language, like whether you're using your hands or, so I can see your facial expressions, and your facial expressions were good. They told us that you were sincere about what you were talking about. You had your information all ready for us. You were organized. And I thought that was good. You started out telling us, when you told us what you were going to talk about, you said you were going to talk about duties of the area director and then events, and when you actually talked, you did it in the reverse order. But that was okay. With a small group, we're not gonna be complain about that too much. So what to work on when we give these online speeches, maybe backing up just a little bit so that we can see more of you. To challenge yourself, and you can tell I'm looking at an evaluation form here because those are the 3 questions that are on a pathway. You excel that, you may want to work on, and to challenge yourself. Challenge yourself to give us speeches more often. You've been doing pretty good with them, but I like to listen to you speak, and I see the improvement in your ability to speak every time you give a speech. So I think that's, I want to give that challenge to all of us, to be able to follow through with our goals, to make sure we know what our goals are. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Darlene. Now it's time to have our grammarian give her report. Please, Beth, tell us how we did.
Thank you, Jim. Fellow Toastmasters, today our word of the day was quarantine. Darlene used it 3 times. I used it, I don't know, 3. I put down 3.
Are you still there? I think.
Phrases.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah.
Ah.
You were frozen.
Phrases. I like the fact that Elaine brought up about sharing the screen was a new skill learned, a new thing that was learned. I liked that. I also really liked that she would take your handcuffs. And then the other part that I really liked was from Lee, and that happened to refer to the same subject, handcuffs. I think my husband would handcuff me. It was kind of, that was fun, if she was trying to go out of the house. So everything seemed to relate to quarantine today. And how we might do that with handcuffs. So that was kind of fun. And I believe that is my report. Thank you.
Okay, and who had the Wizard of Oz?
Let's go with how about Lee?
Okay. All right. And the timers report. Elaine's speech was 6 minutes and 15 seconds, and she had 5 to 7 minutes. Table topics. Elaine was 1 minute and 48 seconds. Beth was 2 minutes and 11 seconds. Lee was 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Darlene was 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And Darlene's evaluation was 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Now, as far as the voting goes, I'm not sure how we're going to work the voting. I see where we can raise our hand on our program.
Well, we don't need to vote on best speaker because we only had one speaker.
Right.
So that one's taken care of. We only had one evaluator.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And
what,
best table topics is the only one that we need to vote on. And by a show of hands, who liked Beth's speech?
okay, let's, I gotta
I
stop
just
and
vote
think.
for Elaine.
What?
I just vote for Elaine.
Okay. All right. Okay, so Elaine had best table topics,
Is that okay
right?
with everybody?
Is that okay with Lee?
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
it was so
And is that okay with?
unexpected.
Is that okay with Elaine?
Yes.
Okay. So Elaine was best table topics. Like I said, we got Wizard of Oz, Lee, best table topics, best speaker, Elaine, and word of the day. Who did you say had word of the day, Beth?
Darlene.
What?
Darlene.
Oh, okay. All right.
And
Because I
most,
want to be sure and post these on Facebook, even though we might not have pictures.
thank you, you reminded me. Just a second. I just did a screenshot of us all here, so.
Oh, did you? Okay. All right. So
I can send that to you.
I never thought about doing that. That is a general's evaluators report. And Darlene,
Mhm.
Toastmaster,
Yes, I
you have the
think,
floor.
thank you very much. I think what we need to do next is look at roles for next week. Unless I'm leaving out something, let me know if I'm leaving out something, but roles for next week. I have, Jim, you're the Toastmaster next week.
Yep.
The theme is March Wins. Elaine is a general evaluator. Greg signed up for grammarian. So Jim, I'm gonna give you the assignment of getting a hold of Greg and asking him if he could do the online meeting and be our grammarian.
I'll do
Did
that.
Greg get his dues in?
No, he hasn't yet. Well, not that I'm aware of it. Anyway.
And I'll ask.
Eric did. Eric's a full-fledged member now, but Greg, not yet. As far as I know, I haven't talked to Levon.
If I remember right, they cannot participate until they pay their dues.
Well, no, that's not exactly, that's up to each club, how much, they just can't give their speeches. They can participate in all the other activities because you can have a guest from Timbuktu come in and be a guest speaker. I mean, I think that's up to each club whether a guest can participate or not.
And Greg is going to sign up. He's just trying to get his
His boss to pay.
employer to get the check sent in. So I do know that.
Yeah.
So I'm a speaker and Lee has word of the day. So we need a timer, a tabletop master evaluators, joke and quote.
I'll do table topics.
Okay, Beth for table topics.
I'll do the joke and quote.
Okay, Elaine for joke and quote. We could, since Levon was supposed to be the timer today, we can put her there and find out if she can still do that. And
Yeah, that's a good idea.
because Jim, I know you're always good at jumping in when someone can't do that timer thing. If that's okay with everyone else.
Yes. Yeah.
So then we just, if I'm the only speaker, we just need one evaluator.
I can do that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I think that takes care of next week. Anybody want to sign up for anything further out than that? if not, we can just, there was, Grammarian's not paying attention to the ums anymore, so I can say them, right? Anyway, just you can email me or sign up on Free Toast Post for any roles further out. I think we've done all of the, I think I'll turn this back over to our president. Madam President, the floor
Thank
is
you. Thank you, Darlene. When are the next officer meetings for our club, officer elections?
Oh, the elections. We're supposed to have our election on the first meeting in May.
Yeah,
So we need to be deciding who wants to run for what.
yeah, I wonder if they'll be postponed at all.
That can be done online
Yeah, okay,
because it's just our club.
yeah, okay. Well, we'll see what that holds. I will make the announcement now. My job ends May 29th. I've been offered another job here, so whether or not I'll take it, I don't know, or whether I'll be heading home in June. So it's hard to, I have to wait on my son and things, but my job is coming to an end. So just so everyone is aware of that. But obviously plans are up in the air.
Okay, and you'll keep us informed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And elections are obviously before that anyways. So let's see. Don't forget about the annual meeting for us, Darlene and I, and then the town meeting, France. And I'm surprised we didn't have more people today.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
really am. That surprises me.
yeah, because I know Eric was all sounding like he was going to be gung-ho with the online meeting and then he didn't come. So
Yeah,
it's our first time. I know we'll grow, and I was hoping we'd have some people from, other parts of the district or even the Toastmaster world. But in time, I think we will. And
yeah.
we don't know how long these online requirements are going to last. So
Are other clubs doing it this way as well, or the majority not meeting?
it's kind of both things are happening. So
Okay.
one of the other Toastmasters in the district, some of you may know him, Cody Dickinson, he and I are trying to come up with a list of clubs in our district that are doing their meetings online. I know there's several of us that we are, and I think both of the advanced clubs are doing theirs online. I know Laboratories is doing theirs online. And
Those, the other one, Faculty Club is
yeah,
online.
yeah, that's what I said, both of the advanced clubs. Faculty Club and Audible, is it Audible Experience? Is that
Audible.
Yeah.
Okay. What? Just out of curiosity, what is the Laboratories?
Laboratories is a club in Richland, Washington. They meet at the PNNL building, Pacific Northwest Labs or whatever it's called.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it just was interesting to me as a lab person. So.
Yeah. And they started their online meetings last week, so they're a week ahead. Well, no, they might have done it the week before. I don't remember when. My daughter belongs to that club, and she said that they've had 2 online meetings so far, and they have been using Skype instead of Zoom.
Oh, okay. I like their name.
Yeah.
Science nerd. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we did well for our first shot. I think this should work out hopefully quite well. So.
Yes. And did you like could you all see everybody up on the screen?
Yes.
And did you all know how to get the chat over on the right-hand side?
No, I don't have that.
if down at the bottom of your Zoom screen, there should be a little box that says chat.
Yeah.
If you click on,
If you
Make it
ro-
bigger.
if you click on that, it should bring up.
Oh, got it. Okay. Okay.
And up at the top, on the top right-hand corner, do you see where it says speaker view?
Nope.
Okay, so maybe it's just me as host that sees that, because I have the ability to either leave it this way, which I kind of like because we can see each other when we talk, or if I could change it to see what happened when I did that. The person who's talking, someone else say something and see what happens.
hello.
Yep. There it went.
It switches back and forth to who's talking. I kind of prefer, that's called speaker view. And what we see now is called gallery view. I kind of prefer the gallery view where we see everybody at the same size.
Well, but thank you.
I think it'll depend on what kind of speeches we have. Like if we have a speech that's maybe longer, we could go to the speaker view so that we just saw that person when they were talking, but either way works. And did you see where you're able to either mute or unmute yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let's see, I think anything else? I think that's, do you have any other questions about using the program?
No, you made it easy. Appreciate that. Worked out well.
It says we're running out of time.
It just came in and said unlimited minutes.
Okay. It says, running out of time, we've removed the 40 minute time limit on your group meeting.
Yeah.
I had heard that they might do that, Zoom might do that. But
Nice.
some people were saying maybe they weren't going to. So if that's the case, it will be a lot easier to do a meeting without having to rejoin in the middle.
Yeah, because it said it didn't have a time limit anymore.
Mhm.
And
That's
I
good.
think
They have extended the time.
yeah, and I think that once this crisis is over with, it's going to go back to the way it was. So, all right.
Well, thank you very much. Seeing any further from the group? Seeing none, then we'll go ahead and close the meeting.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Have a good day.
Have a great day.